Hello, our friends, Evolutionary, EEARTS, Heart's Home Family.
Hello there, welcome back.
And thanks for being subscribed, guys, to all three channels. Make sure you got that little bell clicked for notifications. So I wanted to talk about the mother energy, and I just feel that there is probably no bigger, better piece to be found than to be found in the mother energy. And we're going to cover a couple different traditions here. We're going to start out over down the Vedic tradition, but then we'll look over into the Abrahamic as well to give options for people, because it's what you feel comfortable with and how you approach that energy which you view as the mother.
Mm-hmm. Very important to be comfortable with this, because isn't that the mother's energy? That energy that comforts, that energy that reassures, that energy that gives you confidence and knowing and the ability to wonder and manifest. So there's all kinds of different directions we can go here, and you get to choose yours. This is what we incarnated for our very own experience.
Yeah, and absolutely. The beings that are up on the higher densities, again, when we're talking about beings that could literally be in some ways defined as archetypal forces, they can appear many different ways. And one thing that we see that's relatively common is these higher beings appear in a manner they know you will be comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. And isn't that nice? Isn't that considerate? Because we do come here voluntarily, I feel, with a veil of forgetfulness so that we can learn different things in another way. So that's what they do, because they don't want to cause harm. They don't want to disturb you. They don't want you to be distraught. They don't want you confused or fearful. So falling into that energy that you know to be your belief system is how this works, and I think it couldn't be more beautiful, really.
Yeah, there's a pagan saying that all gods are one god, all goddesses are one goddess. And you could say in a generalized way, yes, and then at the same time you can distinguish between them. As, you know, again, each one is a distinct personification of the divine feminine. And we might resonate closer to one at a particular point in our lives, and then might find that we're resonating closer to somebody else. Or, you know, and it's fine. It could change over time, and you shouldn't feel guilty about that. And that's something that can pop up. And, you know, I'm one that I always maybe will say more instead of less, just because that's who I am. And then Cindy will be like, you know, if you're just downright exhausted, you could just go to bed. Just say, you know, mantra a few times, and you don't got to do 108 or whatever. Just send out your intent, and I'll be like, okay, you know, because in my mind, I guess I'm a little bit more formalized, and you know, yet Cindy can read their intentions, I think, better than I can. And, you know, she gets a direct knowing that they're like, silly. You know, you don't have to be like that. We know what you're feeling. We know what you're thinking. And we love you anyway. If you're physically exhausted, it's okay. But then again, if we do that too often, it could be getting out of a good habit and getting into bad habits. And again, how many of us have said, I don't want to do something, you know, whether it's like, you know, somebody that does go to church, well, I'm too tired to go to church this week, you know. And again, we totally believe that church is the body, the temple is the body. So we're already at church at any particular time, so to speak. You can go and get fellowship with others. That's beautiful. That's wonderful. And again, so many people just have good intentions without understanding, you know, how things have been manipulated and twisted. But everything really on the higher realms, again, there's really truly no time, and everybody is really telepathic And that's how we communicate, is through thought. So again, they can read your thoughts. They do know your feelings. And they are also understanding. Because these beings, and this is the difference really between, say, the Abrahamic line of thinking, where it's thought that certain beings were created to a certain position, and that's just where they're at. We're out here out of the Sanatana Dharma, we all kind of start and go through the same pattern. We start really as a very, very simple being, like a single elemental tending a flower, tending a tree, tending, a simple form of life, and then move up from there into more and more complicated forms. And it gets really interesting, and you might view it as tricky, in that we could have very, very advanced beings taking a step back purposefully to experience an existence or to help from a different point of view as what you might take as a simpler form of life.
Mm-hmm. Well, they do see things from a different perspective. So when you're channeling higher density beings, one thing that I keep in mind is, well, your belief system really has got to change. It's got to, you kind of got to drop the belief system in the 3D is what happens, because then you're able to get information from all different points of view, all different perspectives, and you're more able to hear, feel, and sense what they are trying to tell you. Even they don't look at life as, there's just a short amount of time. To them, there is no death. I mean, they're looking at you from beyond that realm of death and dying. So they're seeing things from such an extreme high perspective, and they can, if you're wanting to tunnel into their energy or connect to their energy, they're probably going to give you the understanding to have the best experience possible in this incarnation. But at the same time, they're not going to take it over either. They don't want to do that. Just like parents raising children, they know to step back at times. The child has to fall on their bike, for them to learn how to ride the bike. We can't do everything for our children. In fact, we are guides for our children to make sure that they don't get hurt. So knowing that, we might do some pretty crazy stuff from their perspective, but they are going to let us follow our path and fall down as needed, get bumps, get bruises. But you know what? That's how we become great. That's how we become fulfilled, is exploring to the highest ability possible.
Yeah, and it has been said that there's a million Vedic gods, so to speak. And again, these are just more advanced beings than we are in these bodies, with the limited perspective that we have. This particular question, why is Durga called Narayani? Now, Narayani there's so many terminologies that can be viewed as like a synonym, giving you the label of the same from a slightly different perspective. When people are in real travail, when you need to call out the big guns, so to speak, Durga, absolutely. Because Durga is thought to be all goddesses coming together, the combined power of all goddesses. So you could look at it as, the love of Lakshmi with the power and strength of Parvati with the wisdom of Sarasvati. And then we could throw in other aspects as well. All combined, because it was said that Durga was created, or came about manifesting would be maybe a little bit more proper, because there were demons, two demons, that were uncontrollable even for the other quote-unquote gods. And so they had to bring Durga into the matter. When we think about it, the divine feminine is all of the material universe. It's the manifestation that consciousness explores. And so we can view Narayani as the counterpart to Narayana. Narayana is also another name for the creator of this universe that we know as Vishnu. So, in a sense, Narayani and Narayana are viewed as siblings in many ways. And where Vishnu, you could view him as the architect, truly the divine architect of this universe, and she is the painter. He's painting the canvas of this universe with that divine feminine energy, and in fact the canvas itself is the divine feminine. So there's all these myths, and we find myths throughout, and there's always these different little nuggets of wisdom that are given to us. And again, Shiva Shakti, we could look at it in a similar manner, but in a more a more primal sense, where Narayani and Narayana are very, very present and imminent. And boy, are the mothers imminent. I mean, they're right here. They're right here. They're here for any of their children. If any of their children will call out to them, they will answer immediately.
Mm-hmm. But they will not interfere, and they will not intrude. It was really nice earlier today. We were doing our Qigong and our standing and our mantras, and you could just see we had all these butterflies, they were going about, and I just feel like we had angels that were kind of directing them with their fingers for them to play around on the ground. I don't know if you can see that visual, but that's what I could see. And isn't that beautiful how the unseen realm works with the seen realm?
And the white feathers that were just sort of just manifesting out of nowhere and coming down to the ground. There was just multiple white feathers that we were noticing falling around us.
And I was looking, got up finally because I went to look for them and I couldn't find them. I'm like, okay, this is really quite interesting. And it was really cool. Some things that they can do here in the scene, in the realm that we can see. So it's very, very magical if you choose to find or see the magic.
Absolutely. So when we were in New Mexico, we didn't have as many birds as we have here. But one morning, it was a beautiful sunny day, blue sky, no chemtrails yet. And we were doing mantras to Lakshmi, and then all of a sudden, there was this enormous swarm of birds, hundreds, if not thousands of birds that were singling out our cabin and were just all around us. It was just incredible. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm. And those are the things that happen. If you become open to such things, you really can see them, because sometimes they're happening around people and people don't even realize it because they're just caught up in the tedious and traumatic nature that life can bring. But if we choose to see the magic, then that's
absolutely. So, we could look at all these different energies, each one slightly different, because Durga does have a little bit more of a warrior edge to her, and then out of Durga comes Chamunda and Kali. And of course, Kali is probably the most powerful energy in the manifest universe that makes quote-unquote demons shudder.
Oh yeah, Kali's a tough one. If you're really in a position, and I don't recommend people call on Kali too often unless you are really in dire straits, because she will bring everything to the forefront and she will take care of the problem. You want to look at the mothers and look at their energy and call upon them as needed, whatever situation you feel is going to be fitting for you, and it's because, yes, they have gone through things like this. They have gone through whatever you are going through. They have a deeper understanding. They have an understanding from a higher perspective. So, leaving everything in your hands for your desire and your need to receive some kind of assistance, even some kind of help. You can call on them to say, hey, I need answers, and you can call on all of them, because all of them might have a little something to say about whatever is going on in your life.
And they will bring peace and love, and it's just an amazing thing to feel. No matter where I'm at emotionally and mentally, doing the mantras and just taking maybe 20 minutes to a half hour to really soak into that energy will completely revitalize me and put me in a totally different place. Totally different place. So you see again Durga holding all the different weapons and instruments of the gods, because she can be viewed as the totality of that. And, in some traditions, they view her as Lakshmi, I should say, who is Narayani? Is it Lakshmi or Durga? But Durga seems to be the most accepted answer. Now, as Vishnu, Lakshmi or Mahalakshmi is taken to be the consort, or the wife, so to speak. But Durga is more that sisterly energy. And there's a lot of different mantras you can use. And we've done that again. If you go on Hearts Om and just go into the mantras, you'll find them. There's one for Lakshmi. There's so many. This is a Durga one. And you can also just plug it in, to the search. And it'll come up with, multiple options. So, and there's others out there that do this as well, of course. So you can find those mantras. Jaya Jagatambe Hema Durga. Now this is calling on the mother of the world. And that doesn't mean the mother of earth. That's the mother of the universe. And so it's interesting too, because when you're calling out to her, hey ma, that's something you'll hear in so many mantras. Hey ma, and it's just like you're calling your mom. Hey ma Durga. Jaya is victory. Jagatambe is the word that translates to mother of the world. Jaya Jagatambe Man Durga. Ma Kali Durga, Namo Nama. Namo Nama is like a sign of respect. It's like bowing. And again, it's addressing your mother in a proper fashion, so to speak. So I just wanted to bring that up. And here's another way you can use what's called Bija, or seed mantras. Om, Aim, Reem, Shreem. Now, Om, Aim, Reem, Shreem is calling in the energy of Sarasvati, Parvati, Shakti, Lakshmi. So these are seed mantras. So it's very, very rhythmic, and I actually love doing this, and I don't do it as often as I probably should, because this one is one that is very easy to get into a groove and to just feel yourself totally tingling from head to toe. Om, Aim, Reem, Shreem. There's another word that gets added to it sometimes, Kleem. Om, Aim, Reem, Shreem, Gleam. And then you are also calling in a little bit more of that warrioress side of it. It's very, very powerful. And the Bija mantras are kind of like a short condensed version that does pull from all those energies. So it's similar to doing mantras to all these distinct forms of the goddess, but simply putting them all into one. Now, we've done before, and I'm not, I think we could do better. And so we plan on doing more videos where we go through mantras, and we'll go through 108 repetitions. But we had made one before, and there's a couple versions. At times I will do that too. To Mary, both Marys, Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, and Yeshua. And you could just do something as simple as Om Shalom Yeshua, if you want to call on Yeshua, or Om Shalom Mary. And we also know Mary Magdalene as Miriam. Om Shalom Miriam, just like that, because you're just wishing peace. and they can hear you. It's just it's all the intent. It's just the intent. And so if you just focus, think about them, put that intent out, you will call them. They will hear you.
You know, I look at it and see it as you're doing like a code to your body and to your energy field around you. It's like a silent Morse code that you're putting out there to the universe, because things do change around you. You become more congruent with your surroundings. Whatever your intent is doing the mantras, whatever is in your heart, your understanding, and you know, the mantras are all very beneficial. So I don't know of any mantras out there that are mean and nasty. I have never heard of one, but they are very beneficial. So if you're saying the Sanskrit mantras, yes, that's going to change how things go around you, and it's going to change the way things happen around you to your benefit. It's just really curious and really interesting how that happens, why it happens, but it's very magical. And again, if you want to see the magic, you will. You know, it's one of those things, I forgot how that saying goes, but you know, you can never convince somebody who needs or wants convincing of the magic of life. You know, they have to want to see it. They have to want to feel it. And then they do. It's all about the desire. But it's definitely a good place to go. It's a good place to be. It's a good place to start if you're just not sure which direction you're supposed to go in life. You know, start exploring, start looking at the different mothers.
And you could create your own mantras. There's nothing that says you can't. So once you know some basic Sanskrit terms, like if you wanted to call on the Mother of the Universe, you know, so I remember some of the Catholic prayers and all calling on Mary and saying Mother of God, right? So, you know, again, Sanskrit is a language that has much more power and positive intention behind it than English does. Because again, English it's come about in a Kali Yuga. It's come about in a dark age. And, you know, the intent is dark, as we know, spelling, cursive. I mean, it goes on and on. We've touched on this so many times. So again, you could call on Jaya Jagatambe and just Om Shanti Shanti. So there you're asking the Mother of the Universe for peace. It's pretty simple. Well, you know, again, there's so many different possibilities. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. Hope you guys got something out of this. Look forward to your comments. Again, thank you for the support over on Patreon. Much love. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.